Did you, in the last episode, we saw Roy Orbison's children make pizzas, and the pizzas looked absolutely disgusting. Did you tell them that they did not do a good job? Did you give any constructive criticism or anything like that?
They were 4 years old.
Well, I know, but you can always learn, you know?
I told them they did a great job.
Joining us today for a very, very special C-Rat interview is none other than the Scouser himself. It is Chef Jack. Jack, thank you. Well, let me finish the sentence. Thank you for joining us. That was it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
It's an honor. It's an honor. So this could be really fun. Whenever we schedule an interview with someone on the show, you never know to gauge the interest. But one way to gauge it is by how many listener questions come in. And we got a lot for you.
Yep.
Oh, no. Great.
We're excited to get into all of it. We kick every interview off with the same question. Mm-hmm. But if you don't mind, could I ask a different one?
You want to ask a different question than how did he get on the show?
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
And we'll get there.
Okay.
You know, being from, the Scouse lands, it's pretty shocking that you know what tastes good. So how did you come to be so good at cooking, being from...
The thing is, I think a lot of the stuff I say in the interview room is very tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to be funny.
Right.
You know, I'm just trying, I eat eggs every day. I eat broccoli every day. I don't mind vegan food. A lot of the stuff I say is just very tongue-in-cheek to get a reaction and to be funny.
Sure.
Well, I was a chef in Michelin star restaurants for 8 years from the age of 17. I moved to London when I was 17. Was straight in a Michelin star kitchen, had a strong foundation in Michelin star kitchens, got to the head chef level. So I've got a good experience. It's not really coming across because I'm trying to be funny.
No. It's of course coming across, but with your roots being in Liverpool, it's crazy that you were drawn to that. But I guess, we're drawn to all things.
How insulting.
I was when I was 16, I was going, basically food was not a big thing for me growing up. As you put it clearly, chip butties and things like that. That was the diet. I can't believe you know what that is, by the way. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I think I was going through a phase of reading biographies when I was 16, and one of them was Gordon Ramsay's.
Right.
And I got so inspired by his story of traveling the world, cooking in all these restaurants, Michelin star kitchens.
Sure.
I was like, you know what? I'll try that. And this sounds super cheesy, but the minute I went into the kitchen, in college or culinary school, I was like, this is me. This is my base straight away. And then I just became obsessed immediately.
I have a question. I've worked in kitchens as a dishwasher, Weather Vane Seafoods in the New England area.
I've worked in catering. Yeah.
There is...
All kitchens are tough. It doesn't matter the standard. Michelin star... All kitchens are hard.
But whoever's never worked in the line at a kitchen, one thing they don't understand, it's almost like a drug getting through a service. At least from my experience, it starts rolling in around 6 o'clock and it doesn't end till 10 and you're on fire.
It's such a high. The thing is, now I'm in Bali. I don't know if you've seen, I train hard every day. And a lot of that is because I was in such a high-pressured environment for so many years that I need to do something high-pressured every day.
Right.
I can't relax because I was in that environment for so long.
Yeah.
But service is like a drug. You're on such a high and you come down and it's very intense.
Do you ever want to get back into that gauntlet and away from a kind of on-water prison?
I think I would happily. I'm not interested in being in that environment for them hours anymore. I think I've done it long enough.
Yeah,
19 hours a day. I'm 30 years old now. I can't do it.
Yeah,
but I would definitely be involved in restaurants in an outside capacity,
sure.
Making menus, just being involved that way. Maybe do the odd shift. But my days of working 19 hours a day, eating chip butties, they're over.
Yeah.
Anybody ever?
More about health now.
Yeah.
Chef Jack, anybody ever get in a fight at staff in one of the restaurants you worked at? And when I worked at the restaurant, there was fights all the time.
There was a restaurant I worked in for 6 years. It's got a reputation for being one of the toughest kitchens in England. And there was fist fights every week. There was fighting all the time between the chefs.
About what?
Like, it was just in the high pressure environment, fights happen. Like, it's just one of them things. But it wasn't really like, you know, you'd go for a pint afterwards and shake hands.
Sure.
But in the kitchen service, what happens in service stays in service.
Sure.
But when you've got a lot of testosterone in that environment and the pressure's that high, the standards that high, flare-ups happen. But you know what? Every time a flare-up happens, it brings a relationship better because you get everything off your chest.
Sure. Yeah.
It's sort of way. It brings you closer together.
Yeah, it's like telling your therapist you're not a fan of how things have been going, and then you kind of air that out. Last question before we get into the guts of the interview. Are there still copious amounts of amphetamine use in Michelin star kitchens, or is that more for the kind of pop-up in Brooklyn?
I think it's more for the lower end kitchens. As you get to the higher level, like people are a lot more professional these days.
Yeah.
You'll find the real high discipline environments. It's just you can't work at that level and be on things.
Right.
Like you just can't.
It's too difficult.
Like I know there's a big stigma about drugs and alcohol in the industry, but I've just found at the real high end, it's just too hard. Like, well, for me personally, anyway, like the job's so hard, you need to be 100% focused at all times.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand how people can do that.
Right.
And it gives the industry this horrible image when it can be real. It's an amazing job. I wish people understood that.
Well, it kind of adds to the lore of, you know, chefs are like rock stars.
Rock and roll, baby.
Rock and roll, baby.
So romanticized.
It is true. They all work hard, play hard, and believe me, I wore the t-shirt. I worked hard and I played hard.
Yeah.
But when I was in work, I was in work. Outside of work, that's a different story.
That's a different Jack. That's a different Chef Jack.
Speaking of which, on the nights out, I don't think we've seen Chef Jack get blackout drunk yet.
We've seen him get blackout drunk. He's kind of subdued, and then he'll pop up and he'll say jacuzzi. You know, that's how you can tell that he's absolutely gone.
By the way, you got to watch the video, everybody. Head on over to another Below Deck podcast on YouTube where this interview will be. Chef Jack, looking very handsome. You look like you should be in an episode of Magnum PI.
Oh my gosh.
I've changed a lot since the show. Like I look at myself like, ugh.
Oh no, stop it.
Different now. But it's just so hard to stay fit and healthy on a char yacht as a chef. It's so hard.
No, you were an aesthetic and spiritual linchpin on that show. Have no embarrassment whatsoever. But we have to ask you
a bunch of barnacle questions.
But first we have to ask you how he got on the show.
How'd you get on the show?
So I've been a chef for bloody hell since I was 16. I've been a private chef for like 5 years. I've been on yachting for 3 years.
Hey Dill, do you think now would be a good time to go for a break?
Do an ad break?
Do an ad. Yeah.
Do you want to do an ad break right now? Why don't we take a quick break and talk about this amazing sponsor? Pat, have you been feeling anxious at all lately?
Dylan, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes, for a couple weeks now I have, but I'm feeling a lot better since I started using Microdose.
Microdose is a wonderful, wonderful company. This stuff is so great for so many things. Like, listen, I've been hitting the circuits real hard, you know, because we've been in a lifelong or podcast long battle for me to get hot. You know what I mean? You're already hot. You're tight. You're taut. But I need to get hot. And because I'm doing these circuits where I'm listening to DaBaby and I'm doing burpees and stuff, sometimes my joints are a little hurt.
Oh yeah.
You know what helps with that?
Microdose.
It can help with so many different things: stress reduction, anxiety reduction, better sleep, help your soreness. Listening to DaBaby doing circuits. This stuff is just what doesn't it help?
Well, it definitely helps my sleep, as you mentioned. I got a 2-month-old, and my wife and I take shifts at night. I just take a little gummy here, these small little gummies. About 10 minutes later, it kicks in. I'm able to have a wonderful full night's sleep. it's changed my life quite
And
honestly.
let me tell you something else. You haven't had sex unless you've had sex on microdose.
Oh, yeah, man.
Microdose is available nationwide. To learn about microdosing THC, go to microdose.com. Use promo code BADTV, all lowercase, no spaces, to get free shipping and 30% off your first order. Again, that is microdose.com. Use code BADTV to get free shipping and 30% off your first order. Links can be found in the show description. But again, that's microdose.com, promo code Bad TV.
But like it was never for me. Like I'd watched a couple of the original seasons, like with Kate and Ben and stuff. But I don't really watch the TV anymore. And then I got approached again, and I thought, you know what? Let's just go for it. I'd seen it again. I watched a few episodes, and I thought I had something to offer. I really did believe I had something to offer as far as being a chef and as far as personality wise. But let's just give it a go. I like challenging myself, and that was it.
Got it.
And before you knew it, I was on it.
Well, listen, what
have I got myself into?
Yeah, exactly. People are asking for different kind of eggs. It's insane. But how
dare they ask for over medium eggs? Who do they think they are?
You've done great so far, but we got a long season left. You may start wielding knives in an inappropriate way. So we have some barnacle questions to get to.
Yes. Carolyn Keegan's asked, what's the most obnoxious meal you've been asked to cook? I guess this could be on charter or maybe in a restaurant as well.
Yeah.
But let's keep it to charter.
That's a great question.
Let's talk about charter too. Tofu and French fries when you're saying the vegan food's not good enough.
Yeah.
When you're complaining about the vegan menu and then you ask for fries and tofu, it kind of negates the criticism, I think. That was pretty obnoxious.
Yeah.
I think I watched that episode.
Yeah, a chip buddy is way better than fried tofu and French fries. That's just bizarre.
I knew that's what she wanted. I would have done it, but come on.
Yeah, we had your back on that one.
So actually, I'll say a second thing. Over medium eggs. That is, who do you think you are asking for over medium eggs?
It's crazy. I am an over medium fan, and I recognize how annoying that is because, especially in like a diner environment, to get that right, a cook on that's like a very, very fragile state of yolk you have to nail there, and it's pretty fucking annoying.
But I'll be honest though, I've got to clarify this because it makes me look arrogant on the show. I did Google it. Me and Natalya both Googled it, and I thought I was doing what it said. Like, I'll be honest, I've been a chef for 15 years, and that was the first time I've been asked for an over medium egg. So I did Google it, and I did think I was giving the guest what he wanted. Obviously, I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
But the annoying thing is that charter. Like, I did this amazing Michelin star tasting menu, and all I've heard is eggs.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, we want to see the bloodshed. We don't care about you succeeding. What is the state of eggs in Jolly Old? Is it just sunny side up and scrambled? Is that it?
It's pretty much, yeah. It's usually like, yeah, it's soft. Like it's runny in the middle and hard. That's pretty much what it is.
Got it.
But yeah, obviously, like I really judged it as I was cooking in the med for Europe. Like I really should have approached it as these guests are going to all be American.
Yeah.
And I didn't. When I found out I was going to be on the show, I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want it to change the way I was going to act. I felt if I would have watched other chefs, I might try and change things and be different.
Sure.
So I didn't watch any of it. So I was a bit caught off guard by how American it was. And it was I was like, we're in Italy, I'm going to get to cook all this local amazing food. And then it's like charter 2, we want a Caribbean night. It's like, okay.
Yeah, no, Americans are known for their refined palates.
All right, Steph G asks, how often does the crew actually eat the food off the guest plates after service?
Great cue. That's a great cue.
So I never really see that happen. But what I will say is this: I cooked so every day that he was always around to for the crew anyway. I would always have reserves.
Yeah.
And then when the guest lunch or dinner was over, it would go down to the crew mess and they would eat the rest.
Got it.
So they always got some of the guest food as well as crew food.
At Weather Vane Seafoods, I used to, as it was being the dishwasher, I'd be like, "Oh wow, they didn't even touch that chicken tender." I'd throw it in my mouth.
What was the thing at Weather? Was it a cock with a compass on the bottom of it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's so weird.
It was. Oh, okay. This is an interesting question. Okay. What? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, here it comes.
Sorry, he interrupted me.
Here it comes.
Am I from Middle Earth? Is that the question?
No, that's mean. Okay.
I'm in Rivendell right now.
No, you're
By the way, I'm the
not.
biggest
You're
Lord
not
of
in
the Rings fan
Rivendell.
ever.
People from
I'm obsessed with
Rivendell.
Lord of the Rings.
People from Rivendell do not sound like you. Okay, they're too
They do
posh.
now. Like Elrond's making me a cup of coffee as we speak.
Jessica Martin wants to know, what crew member is the pickiest eater? Who was the biggest pain in the ass?
Max, without question. All I'll say is he claims to have certain dietary requirements which prove to be false. That's all I'll say.
Whoa!
Is that something that comes up later in the season?
Don't get him in
I hope
trouble.
it does.
Don't get him
I
in
hope it
trouble.
does.
It's so weird to think of a French being a picky eater or having any dietary restrictions. They just throw cream and butter and undercooked chicken down their throat. That's it. You know?
He was the only crew member who would come up and ask me to cook him certain things every day. He just didn't get it. But I love the guy to death.
This is back to the vegans that were that vegan that was a pain in the ass.
Love you, vegans.
Yeah. Is there ever a temptation to add a little butter and bacon fat to a truly insufferable vegan request?
I've never done it, but I've seen it done before. I'm not gonna lie, I've seen it done. I've seen it done.
So brutal.
Not for the guests. I've seen it done in kitchens for staff who people just didn't like. I've seen it happen.
Did you know Max before the show?
No.
You didn't? Okay.
Why that question?
A lot of people have been asking that online because they think because they're so close and buddy that they had it.
Oh, no. So there's a reason me and Max are so close. So firstly, I never worked directly with Max, so I didn't see all this stuff happening on deck. But you'll see as the season goes on, we have quite a funny dynamic in the galley between us.
Yeah.
Because he just makes me laugh so much. Because he's so funny. Like, my opinion of Max is he's a cartoon character who's got dropped in the wrong dimension.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to find his feet.
100%.
It's like Homer Simpson on that episode where he's in the wrong dimension.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So I would pay to have, if I got another yacht job, I would pay to have Max in the corner. Just talk. Because it makes me laugh that much.
Yeah, he
But
is.
like with working, I didn't really witness his work ethic. So I don't really care about that.
Sure. Yeah. No, he is more Adult Swim than Below Deck.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I see.
People think he's playing a character. I can guarantee, confirm that is Max who he is. I've been outside in the real world with him.
Yeah.
He's exactly the same. Like, I've never met anyone like him.
Yeah, no, he's like a crepe with
he's-
Nutella and razor blades in it. Okay, next question.
Okay, Jane Kosuik asks, which girl on the boat did you fancy the most this season?
Great cue.
So they were all attractive. I'll be honest. There was no one I had my eyes on because I was just so focused on my job. I really approached the show as a chef, wanting to showcase my skills. I wasn't trying to be a personality. So like there were girls who I found them all attractive, to be honest, but I just wasn't really thinking about it. I was working too hard in the galley.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see you get another season. You're going to have to start mixing it up with your coworkers on these
Yeah,
boats.
again, we want to see the whole thing burned to the ground, so that's why Pat's saying that. Can I interrupt really
Please.
quickly
Yes,
with a regional question?
Of course. I'm sure it won't be insulting at all.
Why do certain people like Everton and certain people like Liverpool? Why would you ever pick why would you ever pick Everton? Is there some kind of river that separates
Firstly,
people?
I'm very impressed that you know Everton and Liverpool. So good for that.
Yeah.
It's basically who your dad supports. It's split down the middle in the city. It doesn't matter. You're either a blue or a red, and it's who your dad supports. Like most of my friends support Everton. A lot of them, I support Liverpool. But it's literally your family. That's it.
Okay. Have you ever seen anybody killed in the? Have you ever seen anybody killed in the streets after a derby?
I don't think I've seen anyone killed, but I've seen. Yeah,
You've seen
probably
blood.
nearly killed.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, this is a tough question. Now, I love our listeners. I love our barnacles. This one's been with us for a very long time, but you're on the hot seat here with Karen VF. Why'd you throw Tumi under the bus because of the fried tofu thing? She didn't do anything wrong. Neither did Neither did, but you had no problem blaming her.
Oh, wow.
Is this a thing that you do often?
Oh,
Are we
my
going to see more of this
God.
attitude during the rest of the season?
Wow.
Karen VF wants to know that.
Karen VF, living up to the name. Love you.
Firstly,
Great
it was
question.
super unprofessional of me to even say it was Tumi to the guests.
Yeah.
But it was definitely not my intention to throw Tumi under the bus. It was just an initial reaction. I got asked a question and I reacted straight away. It was super unprofessional. But I wasn't marching up the stairs like, I'm going to throw Tumi under the bus.
Right.
Like, I think it's being took out of the context. The guest asked me, why did you do that? And I was like, that's what I was told. That was unprofessional, but that was just the heat of the moment what came out my mouth.
Right.
It wasn't premeditated. It wasn't like, right, I'm going to sabotage Tumi now.
Yeah.
It was just the way it came out.
Did you, in the last episode, we saw Roy Orbison's children make pizzas, and the pizzas looked absolutely disgusting. Did you tell them that they did not do a good job? Did you give any constructive criticism or anything like that?
They were 4 years old.
Well, I know, but you can always learn,
job.
you know?
I told them they did a great job. Like,
Hey, Chef Jack, don't take any of that shit from Dylan. Dylan, those pizzas look lovely, and I'll tell you why. Because
Why?
they actually had sauce on them. I moved out here to Los Angeles from New England, Chef Jack. They don't put sauce on here. Apparently, sauce costs $14 a thimble.
how can you not put sauce on pizza? I bet you they put pineapple on it as well, don't they?
Oh, yes, they do. Those
How do you
SOBs.
feel? How do you feel about a region being called New England? Do you know about New England?
I'd heard of it.
Yeah,
I don't really know the history behind it.
Well, we're your little babies over here.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. It's very similar because there's a lot of drunks out there. Yeah.
I'm Irish. And
Right,
So, yes, there's one thing we can do in England. We can drink.
That's right.
There's one thing we can do. We can drink.
Yes.
All right,
That's our thing.
couple more questions, and we might get in trouble with Bravo and PR. So of course they'll jump in and tell us if we cross the line here. Clear the air. Christine Camara Arena wants to know: will you ever work with Tumi again?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Good. For these dicey questions, I think it's best to keep them short and sweet. You know, that's how we leave them in.
That's how we do it. Okay.
Yeah.
How much did Natalya's opinion of Tumi's affect your first impression of her? Now, on the show, you played Switzerland and claimed that you never let outside thoughts or sharing opinions on people affect your initial judgment. Do you stand by that still?
It certainly looks like Natalya's opinion affects it. And the biggest thing is, when Natalya tells me Tumi's talking shit, there's this real tense music, like da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
And I'm watching, like, I'm going to kill someone.
Yeah.
But that wasn't going from my mind at all. Like, I had my own reservations with Tumi because of her whole demeanor when she came on board. And that service, it was the lack of accountability what was annoying me. It was the lack of accountability. And for her to turn around to me and say, it's because someone's in your ear, isn't that exactly how she acted when Kyle was in her ear? At least I had good reasons for losing my temper slightly.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, no matter if it's Kyle's fault for what went wrong, Jess's fault, Natalya's fault, it doesn't matter. I come to the chief stew. How many times have we seen on Below Deck or in Yachting in general, the chef gives it the big one to the second stew and the third stew. But when the chief stew comes, they put the tail between the legs. I've come from Michelin star kitchens where we respect hierarchy. So if there's a problem with service, I'm going to the chief stew.
Yeah.
If there's a problem if I have a problem with Max, I'm not going to tell Max directly. I'm going to tell Luca. That's just the way it works.
Sure. Well,
and I need to clarify this as well.
Yeah.
I didn't blame you for service going wrong. My words were, you need to be on top of this. That's different to saying this is your fault. Because guess what? As the chief stew, you do need to be on top of it. If you've not worked as a chief stew before, guess what? That's not my problem.
yeah.
And I keep hearing you need to give Tumi a chance. If I burnt all the food on the first charter, right, could I turn and Sandy bollocks me? Could I say to Sandy, you've got to give me a chance, Sandy? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
getting paid to do it. You need to be on top of it.
Well,
that was it.
You come from a hierarchical world, but usually in Below Deck, we see kind of a reverse of that, wherein the chief stew and the chefs usually do try to emotionally and or physically harm one another at least one or two times before the season's up. But I was going to say, when you said you didn't watch the show, you should, because it would have bolstered your confidence quite a bit. Because we've had chefs that have made, the infamous dish is It was
Nachos?
it was a nacho. It was a nacho
Gravy
dish.
salad.
No. It was chips with a cold can of corn.
I've seen the clips on YouTube of like the worst chef meals. So
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the stuff like the chef.
So
Yeah.
that brings me to a question, if you don't mind. Lindsay Shack asks, has any chief stew or service person ever refused to bring out your food to the table? I think I know this answer, but like if
Never in a million.
Yeah.
Never.
thought I knew that one.
Hey, who was
That's
that?
nothing to do with me being like being scared of me. That's just like no, it's never happened.
Sure.
I've never done a plate of food. Like I didn't think it was good enough to go out. I wouldn't give a plate of food to somebody. I don't think it's good enough.
Who asked that fucking question?
Lindsay Shack.
Lindsay. I gotta
It's a
get.
good question.
I know it's a
'Cause I'm
terrible
sure
question,
I'm
Lindsay.
sure that
Shame
happens.
on you.
I'm sure that happens.
Also, we love you, Lindsay.
Yeah, we love you.
We do.
Last couple questions. Teresa Meter wants to know, what's your career goals right now?
So I'm taking a little bit of a sabbatical. I haven't worked in about 8 months. I've been really focusing on my health and my fitness. And I just didn't want to be working when the show was airing. I kept getting pushed back and like an hour in November. But I'm going to go back to the UK for Christmas, spend a couple of months there, and then I'm probably going to head to the States. And I think I'll probably be a private chef. And I'm really trying to get into YouTube as well. I want to be a YouTuber. So I've already started making a lot of videos. I just can't finish any projects.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
ADD.
It's a learning curve, but you'll find a lot of wealthy, uncomfortable people out in Los Angeles, like Bel Air. Like an old Donald Sterling type who will hire you and he'll like pat your ass one morning. You'll be like, oh, that's weird. But he is paying me $5,000 every breakfast. So.
Smack away.
Yeah.
Last question.
I don't like to think too far ahead because life just throws you so many curveballs.
Sure.
Like I'd like to say when I'm going to be in 2 years, but life just throws you so many curveballs that I can't plan too much.
You're 30. Live life. Have fun, man.
Live life, have fun.
Last question. Our moderator of our Facebook group, we call him Chief Stew. He asks, your last meal, what would it be?
Great cue, Chief Stew.
It would probably be, and this is a hard one, it would probably be a good old British roast dinner. I love a roast dinner.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite meal. That would be my last meal, a good one with all the trimmings.
So what are all the trimmings? So there's the roast, there's potatoes and gravy.
So you have your meat, but I'd have every meat: pork, beef, lamb. There's a carrot and turnip, like mash.
Okay.
Broccoli. Yes, I do eat broccoli for people who are listening.
Okay.
Cauliflower cheese, cabbage, roast potatoes, Yorkshire puddings, gravy.
Yeah.
Pigs and blankets, which is like the little sausages wrapped
Of
in
course.
bacon.
Sure.
Everything. Pork stuffing. It's just everything on a plate. It's just pure flavor. And then gravy.
Are pigs in a blanket in England, are they like little Greggs or are they different than Greggs?
No, it's different from Greg's. It's usually around Christmas time that they're served, but it's basically a chipolata sausage this big, wrapped in bacon.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a little bit different.
They're just a great addition. How could you not like it?
Boy,
Yeah.
I feel like such a failure.
It's wrapped in streaky bacon as well. It's wrapped in American streaky bacon.
Oh, okay.
My last meal would be nachos, so I'm a loser.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got. What a great interview. I thought you're great on the show, man.
You
really
were great on the
enjoying
show, and I think we'll just end with this. What's your favorite Lord of the Rings character?
Gotta be Sam, hasn't it? It's gotta be Sam.
Yeah.
course.
Sam is a great character.
Sam's the real hero of the series.
Of
let's face
course. Frodo's a petulant little asshole,
it. Yeah. And all Legolas does is say one-liners.
Yeah.
Like, that's all. Legolas just has one-liners, nothing else.
Too pretty, too perfect. Sam has hair on his feet and on his chest. Jack, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Love talking to you. And when you come out to work for the ruling elite in Los Angeles, please stop by the studio and we'll do this again.
I absolutely will be in touch. I'd love to be in person. I think it'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Really fun. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Adios.
Take care. Bye.